Good evening and welcome to Whole Child Wednesday. Janelle Drake's not able to be with us this week, but in honor of National Mental Health Awareness Week, I was joined by a panel of representatives from agencies that work in our schools and with our students. We talked about how everyone's undergoing a lot of extra stress at this time, some warning signs we can look out for our students, some coping mechanisms and tools that we can use as parents, and when it might be right to seek some professional help. So just a couple of brief announcements, and then I'll get us to that panel discussion. First, our virtual learning centers are up and running. There is still space in some learning centers. So if students are not able to be in school and they need somewhere to go with an adult, with internet access, with some supervision, and a place where they're following all the CDC guidelines for the coronavirus, there are still some spaces. If you go to hcd.org, under community, go to virtual learning centers, and you'll see links to enroll in those agencies that do still have space. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a map that could help you find something that's a little bit closer to your home. The only other announcement this week is that we are going into fall break. Starting on Friday, students have Friday and then the entire following week off. We return to school on October 20th, so be safe, spend some time with your families. We'll see you when you come back from break. And now we'll go to that panel discussion. So in recognition of Mental Health Awareness Week, I'm thrilled to be joined by some of our community mental health agencies. And I'm just gonna let everyone take a moment to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about your agency.
Hello, my name is Kara Coleman, and I'm the Business Development Specialist, as well as a licensed master social worker with Mental Health Cooperative. We provide outpatient behavioral health services for everyone with TennCare or no insurance.
Good morning. I'm Gail Lodato, Senior Director and LCSW at the Helen Ross McNabb Center of Greater Chattanooga. We are a community mental health center providing mental health services and substance abuse services in the Greater Chattanooga area.
Hi, good morning. I am Jashari White. I'm the clinic manager for Centerstone, where we also provide outpatient services to our community. We provide school-based services, outpatient therapy, medication management, as well as intensive in-home and health link services.
And we chose you guys because we all sit on the social emotional learning working group with the city of Chattanooga. And so if you can talk with us about some of the ways that your agency has worked to connect to the community and to connect to the school system specifically.
Our agency serves multiple communities in the Hamilton County area, and we do this through our Tennessee Health Link services. So our care managers meet with people in the homes, in the schools, in the community, wherever their needs are.
The Helen Ross McNabb Center provides school-based services in a number of schools throughout Hamilton County. In addition, our HealthLink care coordinators are available to go to the schools, as well as our Children and Youth Homeless Outreach Program available to anyone in the Hamilton County area.
Centerstone provides school-based therapy to Hamilton County schools as well as other surrounding schools. We also have intensive in-home therapists that are able to go to clients' home to provide intensive therapy to clients as well as their parents. And we also have Health Link services, which provides case management services to clients who are in need, that need different resources provided to them. And those are collected through phone calls or in-person visits if needed.
The theme, what I'm hearing from all of you guys, is that you get out into the community, get out into the schools, into the homes to find clients where they are, and that it's typically at no cost. So that just makes me curious, what's it like doing that kind of servicing in COVID? Are you still able to get in the community, or how do things look right now for your agencies?
So at Mental Cooperative, at the beginning of COVID, most of our services were kind of moved to that phone, telehealth version. But through our task force, our COVID task force, we've been able to kind of phase back in our services back into the community. So back in September, we were able to start the phase 3 of reintegrating case management back into the community. And that has been so helpful for a lot of our families, that obviously people are in need of that human contact, and it's not the same as via phone. So they're actually able to get back in the homes now, and our consumers, I feel like, are really benefiting from our case managers being able to go see them again. And obviously we're still doing that safely through kind of a rotation program. So a group of case managers will be in the field for a week, and then they will quarantine for 2 weeks, and obviously still be wearing their mask and protecting themselves and hand washing and doing all things to prevent the spread, but also being able to kind of do that and meet with the people where they are. Our medication management services through our 2 psychiatrists are still going to be majority via telephone. But if people are wanting to come into the clinic, and those people that are needing the psych evaluations, those longer appointments, are actually able to physically come into our office. Like Shar said, most of our therapy services are still via phone, as well as our intake. So getting enrolled in services is still via phone. So the access is a lot easier.
At the McNabb Center, we never discontinued providing face-to-face services. We continued to practice using PPE and best practices outlined by the CDC. We do have the ability to use a platform called DoxyMe so that we can have face-to-face sessions as well as face-to-face via televideo equipment. And then, of course, as a last resort, we use the telephone if somebody does not have the ability to use our DoxyMe services or able to come into the center. Our medication services are the same as our therapy services and our case management and HealthLink services, using those 3 options. Our med management, for the most part, has remained face-to-face in order for us to ensure that the medical needs are met when we're prescribing certain medications. It's important to do that.
So with Centerstone, at our outpatient office on Shallowford Road, we are still providing all services via telehealth. So our major platform that we use is Zoom. There are a few clients who don't have that capability, perhaps maybe some of our Medicare clients or those who don't have internet access or in more rural counties. So those clients are still permitted to use telephone calls. However, we are in the process of implementing a clean room so that those clients who have telephone only will be able to come to the office and still get their therapy in a telehealth provided atmosphere. School-based therapy, they are able to go to school. They've been going since Hamilton County or other surrounding counties have opened up 5 days a week. Centerstone has provided all of our school-based therapists the proper PPE in order to maintain safety for themselves as well as the clients. So they have masks, gloves to clean with, cleaning solution that is recommended by the CDC, and other proper precautions to make sure that they are maintaining safety as well as the clients. In terms of our CCFT, it's the same thing. When they go to homes, they're not permitted to go inside the home. However, they can meet outside and conduct their sessions that way. And they're also provided with PPE to make sure that they maintain safety with our clients.
Great. And so my thoughts as you started talking about coming to the school and seeing students were, if I'm a family, if I'm a parent, and I'm seeing that my student is obviously off balance, we're all off balance right now. We're suffering from disconnection from our peers. We're having all this additional steps and security added to our day-to-day lives. So I think probably every student is suffering some amount of stress. As a parent, how can I be proactive about identifying times when my student is stressed and intervening? And then how can I also distinguish what's just the normal stress that we're all feeling at this time, and what stress or what crisis starts to cross into the line where I might need some professional help from my student?
As a licensed social worker, I was just doing kind of like a daily check-in with your kiddo. Like, how are you doing today? And kind of normalize that stress. Right now, everybody is anxious and kind of stressed out. Obviously, we're having a global pandemic, so it's very normal to have some anxiety these days. But also just making sure that you maybe come up with a phrase or maybe a code word for your child to use, like, my tank is getting too full, like, whereas your anxious tank is getting too full. And so once the kid says that and states that, okay, they're getting overwhelmed. They maybe need to take a step aside, and coming up with kind of a coping skill box, or just a strategy to where when they say that phrase, okay, let's go walk outside for a minute, or let's just take a break for a second, and kind of just start to normalize that. And everybody needs breaks, and everybody needs to just take the time to take care of themselves. But kind of recognizing it early is definitely best. And then obviously kind of going from there. can definitely help the child. I feel like if they know that their parents are also feeling this way, it's just a normalized feeling.
Great.
I think it's so important right now. It really gives us an opportunity to connect because we're all in this together, and it is stressful and it will have its ups and downs. We will all experience that at different times. And I think, Kara really hit it with saying we need to communicate, keep those lines of communication open. I love the daily check-in. Make sure that you are observing any changes in your child, whether it's related to sleep, appetite, interest in activities, academic performance, any changes that you see, and then open up the discussion. I think that determining whether or not specific mental health services are needed is going to depend on how significant the change is and whether or not the individual feels that their current coping skills are sufficient or not sufficient to get them through this period of time. And if they're feeling overwhelmed and as though it's not sufficient, certainly reach out. All of us are available to assist in any way that we can.
Well, to piggyback on my colleagues, having those open lines of communication is really essential. A parent knows their child better than anyone else. So if you notice a shift or a change in your child, just have that open lines of communication. Making your child feel comfortable to come to you to talk about some of those things. And what Gail said are very key factors to look into. So if their sleep and appetite has changed, if their motivation to do things have changed, or if they don't want to go to school or they're struggling in school, those are some of the things to kind of look out for in terms of their stress levels or anxiety, or if you just notice them. Sometimes children don't know how to articulate anxiety. So they may say, oh, I have a headache or my stomach hurts. And they keep saying that over and over again. And you're like, well, I've taken you to the doctor. There's nothing medically wrong. It could be a source of anxiety or stress. So those are some of the things to look out for in our children, and just having those open lines of communication, and seek out, consultation or help from your school or a community partner to make sure that your child is okay.
And just kind of kicking off what you said there about seeking help. So I'm a parent, my student goes to school, we have a school counselor there, we have a school nurse there. I think that I would have a much better picture of when I go to the school nurse versus the ER than I would when it comes to mental health. And so do I start with my school counselor? Do I start by reaching out to an organization? What is the process if I'm a parent and I think that my student might be undergoing something that I can't deal with alone? And Jashar, if you want to kick us off, and we'll go counter.
Yeah, sure. So our process in school counseling with Centerstone, anyone can make a referral in the school. So it can become from the parent, it can come from the teacher, it can come from the janitor, the administration, school counselor, whomever is there who notices a need in your child can make a referral. So as a parent and you're a bit concerned, about your child, you can absolutely start with your administration and or the school counselor and talk over some of your concerns. And if it meets the criteria, the school counselor or administration can fill out a referral, and they can go to the Centerstone therapist. And if they qualify for our services, that Centerstone person will follow up with you. And so the if they qualify piece is about TennCare. So if your student has TennCare, then we can move forward. If they have a commercial policy or commercial insurance, the Centerstone therapist can make a referral to our office, where we have licensed clinicians that can help you as well.
There's really no wrong door to access services. So I would encourage any parent or student themselves to reach out, as Jashari said, to administrators or teachers, and certainly by reaching out to us, and we'd be happy to connect you to the service that's most appropriate for you.
And just like Jill and Jashari said, at Middle Co-op, we are still doing a lot of our services for intake via phone. So the parents or the student themselves, if they're over the age of 16, can call us directly from then and from that phone call, they'll be assigned a case manager if they attend care. And then they will be able to be set up with our psychiatrist, Dr. Ali, if they feel like medication management is right for them, as well as be scheduled with a therapist. And so those services are all free of cost to our attend care members, as well as people who are uninsured.
Great, and we'll throw all that contact information in the comments below. So if you want to reach any of the 3 agencies, we'll have that in the comments. I want to really thank you guys for joining me. Kara Coleman with the Mental Health Cooperative, Gal Lodato with Helen Ross McNabb Center, and Jashari White with Centerstone. I hope that families have learned a lot about what the process is like for students who do receive counseling, but I also hope that you guys have been highlighted for the work that you do. You're in our schools, you're in our community constantly, and every school I go into, I see one of your counselors. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Like I said, we'll have links to the contact information for all 3 agencies. So thanks for joining.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.